Every boy dreams of rock stardom.
Ooh, I wanna take it.
My last year of junior high couldn't possibly be more embarrassing than my house. I was a grade 9.
New coat?
It's sweet. The thinking man's leather.
You guys shopped in the same Salvation Army?
It's bonfire night, folks. Have fun, be safe.
Whoa, whoa.
You are not gonna burn my broom.
However would you get around?
Welcome to Reach for the Top.
Love is not a trivial pursuit.
Who was the first person to fly solo across the Atlantic?
Lindbergh. What the frig? You taking a dive for her?
I wish I was. I was drowning. Not everyone is ready for the latest and greatest.
Everything's changing so fast. I just want to hold on to the old stuff for as long as we can.
Shove! 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 Shove!
We need to talk.
Back off, missus. I seen him first.
The new season of Son of a Critch is really funny, as always. And we get even more religious school stuff and this growing competition between father and son, and all kinds of wonderful things happen. Mark, how has the response been in the States to broadcasting it there?
Very well, I think. I mean, I think we're the #1 comedy on the CW network now, which is great to see. And the numbers have been good, and the for what they, they're happy with that. And we've gotten some really wonderful press from like the LA Times and the Wall Street Journal and people like that who reviewed it quite positively. And it's 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a good thing. And yeah, so it's gone over quite well for for a little show from Canada. And so yeah, we're very happy with it.
The thing is that it's so unique. It's a regional comedy, and you don't see those very much. I remember back there used to be a show set in Alaska and a couple of odd things, but for Canada, Newfoundland is so unique, and it kind of unites us because we get to see what it's like and to think maybe of going over, and it's a wonderful thing. And I think it does unite Canadians to a degree. Would you agree with that?
The thing is with the show, it's very specific location and time. It's quite particular, but we all have been in these situations. Everybody feels like an outsider at times. And, we've all had to have the growing pains of growing up, but also the pains of watching your kids grow. So I think we can come together and see that. But I mean, Canada's an awfully big country, and there's so much of a difference from coast to coast to coast. And I've been lucky enough with the 22 Minutes show to travel around and get to meet all kinds of Canadians. But I think, there is, but there's something that links us all together. And one of those great things is humor, and it's very specific Canadian type of humor. And having to laugh at these situations. I mean, I think all Canadians kind of feel like an outsider at times, living next to the mouse next to the elephant. So, yeah, I certainly hope that is true. That
Colton, you're in a war now with your father. Because they're both working at the radio station. So there's a big competition happening now. And I wonder, a few spoilers. What have you got in store for him to win the war?
Hey, I think Mike's tactic to win this war is to study the enemy, quote unquote. I mean, I think that the war of it comes in after, because the mentor father-son relationship that they've had, Mike Jr. takes a lot from Mike Sr. Like, he was the blueprint for doing what he wants to be doing. And so to see him kind of start to go on his own now and disagree with that, it's kind of a general soldier situation instead of a war thing. He's stretching out. He wants to do his own thing. He doesn't want to stay in his dad's shadow forever, and that starts by switching his name to Campbell, which we see how that goes down.
Yeah, that does not go well.
But I think going forward, there's a mutual understanding there for the two of them, that they both have a lot of respect for each other, and it's really sweet. Family business,
Family business. Yeah, I like that. Dynasty. Benjamin, I'm really glad that things have worked out with Fox and you, because she was scaring me a lot. And now she's on side, and I think she's like falling in love. I don't know. This is just what I see. So how do you see things going with her and with your classmates at the Catholic school? Because that's a really fun segment.
Yeah, I think in season 3, you've got a lot of the, you know, the will they, won't they, and everyone kind of, you know, it's their, you know, it's the last year where they're all going to be together. So I think it's like they're trying to make the most of it, especially to the latter half of the season. And then I guess where I think it'll go in season 4, I think there's anxiousness towards whether they'll all be in the same class, because you know, it's a massive school they're going into, and they might not be in the same classes at all. And so I think the main thing to look out for is like, okay, how are they going to keep in touch together? And I'm quite excited to maybe in like a season 4, if we get it, then to explore like how they do kind of stay together, even in like tough times when they won't be able to be with each other like normally.
Yes. Claire, motherhood has been portrayed so many different ways in media, so many iterations of motherhood. And here she is in the 70s, and she, you know, it's the beginning of the liberation movement, and she doesn't have to liberate herself. She does what she knows she needs to do. There's no liberating necessary with her, and yet you steer clear of modernity in a way. So tell me how you would respond to that.
I think what's very interesting is that, yes, she is in a very traditional role, you know, being a housewife and at home and taking care of a family and kids. But I think what's really interesting is that as traditional as she also is very modern in the sense that she is very grounded in her own ideals and morals and the things that are important to her. And I think she forces those actually quite strongly on everyone else in the family. I think what's interesting is that there's no shrinking violet in Mary, which is an incredible thing to play. You know, there's so many sitcoms and so many shows with, you know, the sweet, affable wife to, you know, the very funny husband. And I think what's glorious about her is that she's as funny, she's as strong, and she gets to hold her own all the way through. And that's such a gift to play something like that. It's very rare you get to play something like that. And I think it's a role model we want to see for women.
Absolutely.
Even now, even in this day and age,
even now,
you can be a housewife, you can stay home, you can take care of your family. You also can be deeply independent. It's a wonderful thing.
Well, Mark, how long are you prepared to carry the show on?
To get to the end of high school and graduate with these folks. I think that would wrap it up nicely. That would be season 6. You could do a season 7, because then coming out, and I moved in with my brother Mike, and then started as an actor, and there were some very funny stories about that. And also at the end of that time too, in Newfoundland and Labrador changed a lot because it was the cod moratorium. So the cod fishery, the reason for the place to exist, stopped because you weren't allowed to. So there was economic devastation that year, and like about half the island was out of work overnight. So a lot of change happened then. So it was a whole different kettle of fish, for lack of a better word. And so I think that'll be an interesting place to finish things off with kind of the new Newfoundland forming, and then him going off on his way. But I'd be more than happy and delighted if we could see him graduate from high school.
And that'll be so bittersweet too, right?
It would be, but you know, and the interesting thing is after that, I got out of high school in '92, and I think my first time on CBC doing comedy would have been '93, '94. So after that, we could just start with reruns. You know, you can just pick up the story with actual footage after that, and it will just be fun. You have the whole Mark Critch life set, you know?
Thank you so much, everybody.
We all write our own origin story.
We're in grade 9. Grow up.
Mr. Critch, you need glasses. Glasses? Me? No, no. I just think the chalk is just a little soft.
You're embarrassing me.
I guess he doesn't need you anymore either.
One of these days, we're gonna have to grow up. But today is not that day.
I don't want us to get older either.
As the years go by, you start to realize that it was the little things that were the big things. Like it or not, you have to learn to embrace the new you.